I mean, you've had it pretty good. So there's a degree of jealousy involved.
Andrew Tate is mocking Jake and Logan Paul.
Logan Paul is a bitch, and I will say that here publicly. Anyone wants to, I'll fight him for free.
Back again, polluting combat sports like two sewer rats that refuse to flush. Jake and Logan Paul have pushed Andrew Tate, and everyone with a functioning brain, to their limit. These two are turning boxing into a cash-grabbing, WWE-style reality show, staging yet another overhyped, over-scripted scam disguised as a fight on March 27th.
He doesn't stand up for anything, and he doesn't mean anything.
Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about competition, skill, or proving who's the better fighter. It's about selling PPVs, manipulating their fan base, and squeezing every last drop of attention before people finally wake up to the scam. Logan Paul, the poster child for corporate sellouts, is the definition of a man with no spine, no real opinions, and no loyalty to anyone.
Doesn't believe in any of the things he says. Logan Paul is a man, if you ever were unfortunate enough to consume his content, I get sent clips of it all the time by people mocking him.
Before Tate got banned, Logan was all over him, reposting his clips, acting like he respected him. But the moment Tate got canceled, Logan switched sides faster than a cheap politician on election day. Suddenly, Tate was problematic, and Logan was parroting the same weak, scripted corporate narrative about Tate being a bad influence.
He said, oh, I think he even said in his video he made about me, when you get canceled, you know, Andrew's pretending he doesn't care and he's some stoic warrior, but I know how much it hurts. Logan, it hurt you because you're a bitch. I don't give a fuck. I've been saying I'm gonna get canceled for the last 2 years.
This is the same Logan Paul who built his career on controversy, scams, and pure clownery.
Man who will say anything he thinks he is supposed to say so that the people in charge of him don't take his YouTube channel away, because if he loses it, he has nothing else.
Let's not forget, this is the same genius who filmed a dead body in Japan and laughed about it. The same Logan Paul who launched a cryptocurrency scam, stole millions, and then acted like it never happened. And now, he wants to stand on some moral high ground. Logan, you have no principles, no integrity, and not even a real personality. Every word you say, every move you make, is pre-approved by your corporate masters, and you'll do whatever they tell you, as long as the checks keep clearing.
Believe what he's saying. He's bought and sold. He's a puppet. He's a clown. And his clown is, when you're a clown, right?
And Logan's so-called fighting career, if you can even call it that, the guy barely survived an amateur scrap with KSI, then ran straight to WWE, a place where even your grandma knows the fights are fake. Honestly, that's where he belongs, throwing staged punches at actors in a choreographed spectacle, pretending to be a tough guy while knowing full well that nobody is actually trying to hurt him.
But I do have a dislike, just as on a personal level in general, for cowardice, hypocrisy, switching up on people. That's just not how I roll with my team.
His fight with Floyd Mayweather was a complete joke. Floyd carried him through 8 rounds like he was babysitting a toddler. If Mayweather had actually wanted to fight, Logan would have been unconscious before the 2nd round. But Logan needed to survive to keep the scam going, so they made sure the whole thing was just a glorified sparring session. Logan isn't a fighter. He's a walking marketing campaign in boxing gloves, selling hype and fake drama, while real fighters are out there putting their lives on the line in the sport.
You are a clown. You are a performing clown.
And then, of course, we have Jake Paul, the so-called problem child, who's really just a privileged, attention-starved YouTuber playing pretend as a boxer. He built his entire fake boxing career by cherry-picking opponents like a scam artist choosing his next victim. His opponents? Retired MMA fighters with no boxing experience, undersized influencers, and washed-up athletes. Every single fight was carefully selected to make him look good.
When I made the video, I really disliked Jake Paul. Now, I don't dislike him, I understand him. I want to make something clear. I would still kick the living fuck.
And his latest masterpiece, fighting a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer level of cowardice it takes to call yourself a serious boxer while stepping into the ring with a man who's almost eligible for a senior citizen discount. Mike Tyson is a legend, no doubt, but this isn't 1986, and this isn't the Tyson who was knocking people out in 90 seconds. This is a businessman cashing in on nostalgia, and Jake knows it. If Jake were serious about boxing, he'd be fighting young, active, and dangerous opponents. But he won't, because he knows exactly what would happen.
I do understand what he's doing. I understand that he is very, very smart, even with his marketing angle. I'm just a YouTuber. You're not just a YouTuber. You're a full-grown man with the best coaches in the world who's dedicated his life to learning how to box for years. You know how to box. You're not a complete amateur. You know how to box very well. 3, 4, 5 years of training combat sports. You can box.
Let's talk about Tommy Fury. The first time Jake actually fought someone his own age, his own size. And with real boxing experience, he got humbled. The moment he couldn't rely on beating up an ex-UFC fighter with no hands, the illusion shattered. And what did Jake do after that? Did he fight another real boxer? No. He went right back to fighting old men and influencers. He's not interested in competition. He's only interested in keeping the scam alive.
Become the biggest clown on the internet, and now he's famous, right? Because he's an idiot. But he has a bunch of money, so he gets to...
The Paul brothers' so-called rivalry is about as real as Logan's WWE matches and Jake's padded boxing record. This isn't about competition. It's a business stunt, a scripted drama designed to milk controversy for millions. Andrew Tate has already exposed them. Jake and Logan aren't fighting because of real beef. They're fighting because it's a multi-million-dollar payday, and their gullible fan base will eat it up like the suckers they are.
I have the opposite perspective. I feel like ruining my little brother's boxing career would be so bad.
It's the same recycled playbook they've been running for years. Fake drama, exaggerated feuds, and ridiculous WWE-style storylines, all designed to grab headlines and inflate pay-per-view sales. It's the most blatant cash grab in combat sports history. They manufacture tension, sage social media insults, throw in a few dramatic face-offs, and then act like they're settling it in the ring while laughing all the way to the bank. And guess what? It works because people are gullible enough to buy into it. Logan and Jake aren't enemies, they're business partners, and this entire fight is just another money printing scam disguised as a grudge match.
And he's a young kid out there trying to make some...
Tate has already exposed their lack of loyalty, and this so-called rivalry proves it. Logan is out here teaming up with KSI, the same guy who publicly embarrassed Jake. And somehow, that's not a red flag? What kind of brother partners up with his own brother's biggest rival just for a payday? Logan and KSI literally own a company together, Prime Energy, a cheap, sugar-filled scam drink they push on their fan base while pretending to be fighters. And now, suddenly, Logan is fighting Jake? It's so obviously staged that it's downright insulting to anyone with an IQ higher than room temperature.
With some sort of episodic thing, right? That was my first thought. This is not a fight. This is some sort of episodic or documentary.
But let's be real. The only fight that actually matters is Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul. That's the fight that would settle everything. And guess what? Jake doesn't want it. Tate has already said he's been in talks with Jake's team, but Jake refuses to sign the contract because he knows exactly what would happen. He dodges real fights like his life depends on it. Tate has already called out Jake's steroid use, and that's just another reason this fight isn't happening. Jake wouldn't even pass a proper drug test, and everyone knows it. He bulks up unnaturally fast, jumps between weight classes like it's nothing, and his physique screams synthetic enhancements. Meanwhile, Tate is a former world champion kickboxer with a real combat record. No rigged fights, no cherry-picked opponents, no scripted wins. Jake's entire career is built on fake fights, but against Tate, there's nowhere to hide. This circus between Jake and Logan is just another distraction, another phony fight designed to fool the masses. Somehow, these two clowns have convinced people they're real fighters when, in reality, everything they do is a carefully crafted business strategy. The worst part, their brainwashed fans actually believe it. People throw money at these scripted fights, thinking they're watching a real rivalry unfold, when in reality, Logan and Jake are business partners cashing in on stupidity. Tate is laughing at how easily people fall for this nonsense and how effortlessly the Paul brothers manipulate their audience into funding their scams. This fight isn't about competition. It's about selling drama, generating controversy, and keeping Jake and Logan's names in the headlines. The biggest scam in combat sports history is unfolding right in front of everyone's eyes, and the fans are willingly buying into it. Jake and Logan aren't fighters, warriors, or competitors. They are businessmen, content creators, and reality show actors who have turned boxing into a joke. This fight isn't about pride or proving who's the best. It's just another business transaction. And the real losers? Anyone dumb enough to pay for it. Andrew Tate sees right through it, and so does anyone with an IQ higher than a glass of water. This isn't boxing. This isn't about legacy. This is a money-making circus, and Jake and Logan Paul are the biggest clowns in